Welcome to Mathematics 9. For this day, we will be talking about quadratic equation. First, let us have our objective. Objective number 1, determine the equation if it is a quadratic or not, followed by illustrate quadratic equations. So before we proceed on our main topic or our discussion, let us first have a pictures. As you observe in this picture, do you think what is their commonality? Okay, that's right. So they have the common word for curve. So as you observe in our first picture, which is Space Shuttle located in Enchanted Kingdom, in its track or trail, as you observe, there is a curves or there are curves there. Followed by in our second picture, as you observe, it is a zigzag road or a curved road. And next, the third picture, which is the Santa Rosa Arc, where it have a curved structure or curved line. So always remember, quadratic equations, the best application of it is all of the objects composing of curved structure or curved line. So always remember that. All of anything that you can look in your room or anything that you can look now, kapag nakakita po tayo ng curved line, automatically it is a quadratic equation. Or we can apply quadratic equation there. So now, let us define quadratic equation. Quadratic equation is a quadratic function. Is any equation of the form f of x is equivalent to ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. So in this definition, let us elaborate it further by analyzing phrase by phrase, word per word, and the entire definition. Let us proceed first with the word quadratic. Always remember, if we're talking about quadratic, it refers an expression with the highest exponent of 2. So always remember that ang pinakamataas na exponent na pwedeng makuha ng quadratic equation ay 2. Not 3, not 4, not 1, but only x squared or x raised to 2. So always remember that. Quadratic equation, highest exponent is 2. Followed by, we have our equation, f of x is equivalent to ax squared plus bx plus c. So this expression is used to identify the quadratic equation itself. So ito po yung pattern na kailangan nating sundin kapag po nagsosolve tayo ng particular something that we need to solve, such as roots, factors, etc. Where in this equation, sabi daw po dyan, we have A, B, C are real numbers and A is not equal to 0. So going to our whiteboard, so let us elaborate the entire expression. So are you ready? So we have f of x is equivalent to ax squared plus bx plus c. Always remember, x squared and x are only variables. So for now, we will be taking x squared and x just a letter. So wala po tayong gagawin dyan, and we will just take it as a letter if we are talking about this equation. So they are just variable or they are just letters. So nasusundan so far. Therefore, this x squared and x will remain as x squared and x only. Next, according to our definition, we have letter A, letter B, and letter C. So always remember, they are all real numbers. Or we can just simply say they are all numbers. Pag sinabi natin numbers, it could be 1, it could be -1. It could be positive number, it could be negative number. It could be fractional number, or it could be a decimal value. So therefore, this ABC ay nag-iiba-iba depende kung ano pong given na equation. So sometimes, if the scenario occur, so pwede pong si A maging 1, pwedeng si A maging negative 1, and si B, same din, si B pwede maging 1 half, maging 0.01, and so on and so forth. So from there, that is A, B, and C. Next. According to our definition, sabi daw po doon, from our function or expression, the letter A should not equal to 0. So the reason why is that if we let A is equivalent to 0 and substitute A value to our expression, what will happen? It will become f of x is equivalent to 0 multiplied by x squared plus bx plus c. And simplifying this one, it will become f of x is equals to 0 times x squared. It will become nothing, and it will remain as bx plus c. Unfortunately, if you observe this end equation, if we will be evaluating it, so kung mapapansin niyo po, hindi na po siya quadratic or not a quadratic. Nasusundan po so far? Because our highest exponent na ay 1. Therefore, ibig sabihin, if we let A is equivalent to 0, ang mangyayari po is we are letting x squared to be removed. Pag nawala si x squared, therefore, automatically, it will, hindi na natin siya matatawag na quadratic. So, therefore, it is not a quadratic equation. So, therefore, always remember, if we're talking about quadratic equation, the only restriction for its formula is that A is not equal to 0. So, lagi pong tandaan yan, A is not equal to 0. It could be any number except 0. So, nasusundan po so far? So, therefore, that is our definition of quadratic equation. Next, let's have our drawing. Always remember, if we're talking about quadratic equation, it is a curve. It can be oriented as like this one, or it could be oriented as like this one, or like this one, or like this one. Or we can just simply say that our quadratic equation is in terms of diagonal drawing, or it could be like this one, or it could be this one, or it could be this one. So, nafa-follow po so far? Just remember, quadratic equations are just curved line. Kaya nga lang, kapag dumating na sa point na nadagdagan natin siya ng isa pang curve, such as we create our first curve here and our second curve here, therefore, this graph is no longer a quadratic equation because, laging tandaan, quadratic equation only form one single curve, isang liko lang. So, nasusundan ba so far? So, therefore, in our picture here, so our quadratic equation is graph in Cartesian coordinate plane, and we have two quadratic equation. One is the red color and one is the black color. So, therefore, ayan po yung mga example na pwede nating illustrate yung quadratic equation into drawing. So, nasusundan po so far? So, that is the way of writing or drawing the curve. So, now let us proceed. According to our definition, we have f of x is equivalent to ax squared plus bx plus c. So, this expression is also known as the standard equation. Pag sinabi natin standard, this is our basis line na kailangan natin gawin lagi or kailangan natin i-arrange yung ating equation into standard equation. Bakit? Kasi along the way in our discussion in our next topics or in other subtopics of quadratic equation, it requires to convert our equation into standard equation because ito po yung laging magiging first step ng process natin. Determine the standard equation of the given equation. Therefore, we need to rearrange it into standard equation. So sa madaling salita, mahalaga po ang format ng standard equation in quadratic equation. So next. So since we're talking about standard equation and we have this formula, so let us convert our equation into standard equation. So ready? So let us proceed. So we have 3x squared plus 9x plus 13 minus 2x squared minus 7x. So our goal here is we need to convert it in standard form by combining the like terms. So sino-sino po ba yung mga like terms? So we will be looking about the values of our variable, kung sino po yung magkakaparehas, therefore sila po yung ating pagsasamahin. So sa madaling salita, we have 3x squared and negative 2x squared. So sila po yung ating pagdidikitin. So we have 3x squared minus 2x squared. Followed by, sino pa yung pwede natin pagsamahin? We have 9x and negative 7x. So plus 9x minus 7x. Lastly, sino na lang po natira? 13. Therefore, we have plus 13. Then, in the next part, we need to simplify them, or we need to apply the process of addition and subtraction kung kanino man or kung ano man yung appropriate operation in our given expressions. So in here, we have 3x squared minus 2x squared, so we just need to subtract them. So the answer is we have x squared for here, followed by 9x minus 7x is positive 2x. And since si 13 walang kasama, we will just bring down. Therefore, the standard form of the equation is f of x is equivalent to x squared plus 2x plus 13. Therefore, this is our final answer. Okay, so next, let us proceed with our second example. For our second example, so if you want to solve it now, so you can pause our video and solve it on your own. But if you want to listen with me and let answer it together, so pwede naman po. You can just continue playing the video. So as of this moment, you can now pause it. Okay, so let us try to answer together. So first, always remember, in our standard equation, the first term is the term having x squared. So therefore, we need to move that term in the first part. Therefore, we have 12x squared followed by its sign. So we have negative 12x squared. Followed by, so ano pa po ang pwede nating pagsamahin? We have 31x and we have negative x. So moving them together, it will become plus 31x minus x. And ano na lang po natira? We have 3. So plus 3. Next, combining the like terms, so we have 12x squared. Next, 31x minus x is positive 30x plus 3. Therefore, this is our standard form of the equation after simplifying or converting our expression into standard form. Question po so far? Okay, so kung wala pong tanong, so let us proceed with the idea of quadratic function or quadratic equation or not. So therefore, from the given expressions, we will be checking, is this given a quadratic or not? So the baseline to identify if this is a quadratic equation or not, we just simply check the equation if we are given with an highest exponent of x squared. So kung highest exponent ay x squared, automatically it is a standard, it is a quadratic equation. So now let us proceed with our first one. So f of x is equivalent to x squared. So our answer is, we have yes, it is a quadratic equation. So bakit po siya naging quadratic equation? Because the highest exponent of x or the highest exponent of the entire expression is 2. Therefore, it is a quadratic equation. Next, followed by, we have f of x is equivalent to x cubed minus 2x squared. So by checking, so we need to check if the highest exponent is 2. From here, we have x cubed minus 2x squared. So from here, ano kaya yung highest exponent natin? Is it 2 or is it 3? Then that's good. So the highest exponent is 3. Therefore, it is not a quadratic equation. So therefore, let us just write no. The third one, we have f of x is equivalent to 3x squared plus 9x plus 13 minus 3x squared minus 7x. So we would just check if after simplifying, if our entire expression is a quadratic or not. So simplify muna natin, then after that, evaluate natin if it is quadratic or not. So let's start. So simplifying it, so pagsamahin lang po natin yung mga like terms. We have 3x squared minus 3x squared, we have here, followed by 9x and negative 7x, followed by plus 13. Simplifying it, we have 3x squared minus 3x squared, it will become 0. So we will not write it na. Followed by 9x minus 7x, it will become 2x. Then the remaining one is 13. So now, let us evaluate. Is this a quadratic or not? Yeah, that's good. You are correct. So the answer is, it is not a quadratic. After simplifying it, so we analyze that the highest exponent of the expression is only 1. Therefore, it is not a quadratic equation. So lagi pong tandaan, to evaluate if our expression is a quadratic, just look on the highest exponent. If the highest exponent is 2, therefore it is a quadratic equation. And if not, therefore it is not a quadratic equation. So question ba so far? So now, let us proceed with our next part. So upon in our definition of quadratic equation, we have form of standard form. Tama po? And from the standard form, we have the letters of A, B, and C. So now, our goal is to identify the value of A, B, and C. So always remember, the value of A is that siya po yung katabi ng x squared. The value of B is yung katabi ng x, and the value of C is just a number without variable beside it. So let us start. So we have A, we have B, and we have C. So always remember, in identifying ABC, they should be numbers only. So numbers lang po dapat. So therefore, letter A is, do you think what is the value? Yeah, that's good. So the letter A is, we have 13. How about B? Do you think what is the value of B? Yeah, that's good. So the value of B is, we have 21. And lastly, what is the value of C? Yeah, so therefore we have 5. Meaning that is our values for A, B, and C. Okay, sige, try nga natin on your own. So you can pause this video. So let's determine the value of A, B, and C upon evaluating our expression. And if we can simplify them, simplify first. Then after that, translate it into standard form and identify the identify the values of A, B, and C. So let's start. So from here, so as you observe, hindi po siya naka-standard equation. Therefore, we need to translate it into standard equation. So first, mauna si negative 3x squared, followed by 12x, followed by 15 minus 16. Kaya nga lang, in terms of here, meron po tayong like terms, particularly 15 and 16. So therefore, we need to simplify it first before identifying A, B, and C. So what will happen? It will become 3x squared plus 12x minus 1 is equivalent to 0 after evaluating 15 minus 16. Then after now, we can now identify the value of A, the value of B, and the value of C. So from here, the value of A is 3, the value of B is 12, and the value of C is negative 1. So therefore, that is our A, B, and C.